Hey friends, it's been a minute, but a few updates. I started taking 3 online classes this summer semester. So the summer semester is cut into 2 halves, and I don't recommend taking summer classes. They're condensed. I didn't realize it was a really shortened, condensed 5 week semester. So I started with 3. I am going to end with 2. I did have to drop one class. It was just very overwhelming because I was still working full time. I also work at my yoga studio, so I've been doing that and wrapping up my classes. So life has been busy. I've also been photographing and taking on some more of those jobs, which I've been wanting to do. In terms of mental health, it has been a change in my journey a little bit. I was looking through the DSM-5, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual that the clinicians use, because I'm reading a book called The Boy Who Was Raised by a Dog by Dr. Bruce Perry. So I just wanted to look into the different things, the different diagnostics, because I have to write a paper about it. And I ended up looking into some other things, and I I flipped the pages over to look up like OCD, because that's what I deal with, and anxiety. And I came across OCPD, obsessive compulsive personality disorder. And then I read it to my husband, and we had a little chuckle, and then I ended up talking to my therapist about it. I realized that I am very stuck and very rigid. I really meet the criteria for obsessive compulsive personality disorder. Very strict with like rules and calendars and perfectionism, and I feel like I very much mimic my dad, and I don't like that. I don't like having perfectionism rule my life, and it prevents me from enjoying my life. If anything changes off schedule, I am completely thrown off. I have a hard time doing things spontaneously, and I have a hard time relaxing. It's very hard for me to go on vacation and not work. I usually have to bring like my cameras with me or some sort of work that I have to do in order for me to feel good and comfortable. So I ended up meeting with a new therapist. She is a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and she discussed medication, and I am not the biggest fan of medication. I've been on sertraline, and after being on that for a certain amount of time, I start to feel drunk. It's like it hits the baseline and I'm good, and then it starts to kind of reverse. So I talked to her about cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. That's something I'm kind of doing on my own as well. And we discussed medication. So the first thing that I tried was hydroxyzine, which is basically like Benadryl. It's not Benadryl, but it is an off-label anti-anxiety. So you take it at bedtime. I felt great. I felt kind of dopey, actually. I was very relaxed, but I was also going to bed at 7 o'clock and sleeping for 10 hours. And I teach yoga at night. So I was like, I took that for 4 days, give or take, I think 4. And we both agreed that that was not the one for me. So I went back the following week and we talked about an antipsychotic. And when she brought up the antipsychotic the second time, she initially brought it up at our first visit. I told her that that word felt very heavy to me. And I'm not here to say that anyone on an antipsychotic is terrible. You know, things work differently for different people, but that word felt very heavy. So she prescribed an antipsychotic, Risperidone and Lexapro, which I've been on before, and I did well. So being the scaredy cat, person that lives out of fear that I am, I took a half of each pill for the first 2 nights, because we have to start on a lower dose with Lexapro. I was taking a half a pill up until today, so for a week. And on the 3rd night, I took a full Risperidone. But I can absolutely say that the ruminations, the rigidity, and the chatter in my head has calmed down considerably. I feel like I can focus on things. I am not impulse buying. I am not impulse eating. I am feeling better about eating because for a long time I was very strict about what I ate. I kept it to a few certain things. I am now obviously working with cognitive behavioral therapy, and with the medication, I am able to feel comfortable with going outside the norm. I was subbing for another teacher for yoga class on Monday, and I went off script and I just completely went intuitively, and I taught the class from my intuition and how I felt and kind of reading the room. And I haven't been able to do that in a long time. If you're struggling with mental health, and especially if you have OCD, OCPD, be open to working with your therapist. If they are not providing the therapy that you are looking for, talk to them. Be very open with them. These people, like, when I am a therapist, I want people to be open with me and to be able to say, hey, Crystal, this isn't working. Let's try a different direction. Or do you know someone who does like CBT? Let's try them. So I am really grateful that I have the therapist that I want to be. But it's very important that you are open with your therapist and that you try to come to a solution with them. Try different therapists if you have to. Because my therapist referred me to the Veda House in Saratoga, and they are fantastic. I work with Siobhan, and I absolutely recommend them very highly. But if you are scared in any way of medication, that's understandable. Start small, start at a very low dose, but try it. Just try if you can. Obviously, if you're allergic or there are complications, don't force yourself to take medication. Trust your gut, trust your body, but there are things that can help. And mainly, I guess I just want to say, don't let yourself suffer, because I let myself suffer for a very long time. And yes, I do yoga and meditation and EFT tapping, and I did NLP and all these other modalities, and they're great, but I have a hard time listening to myself. So I really needed to get on this medication to give me, like, you break your leg, you need a crutch. It's okay to have that crutch to help you move along. To strictly use that as just a crutch and not help your own self, that's a whole other ball game, I'm gonna say. But yeah, a bit of a life update. Classes are kind of hard and I'm getting through them. But if there's anything anybody would like me to chat about, OCD, anxiety, tapping, please let me know. Leave a comment below. I would love to answer your questions or let you know what I do. I am not here to gatekeep any of my tools, and I am happy to help, but I will be taking the second half of the summer semester off. So yeah, it was too stressful. So it's fine, and I'm okay with that. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. If this helps you at all, reach out at any time for support. And if you'd like to donate, my Venmo is in the comments.